This is a getting started guide for System Ascension Idle Core. If you've just begun the game, you're probably looking at this. This is the first machine, the Earth machine. The way the game works is you have 10 machines that harvest energy. Each machine has 8 energy sources, and the goal is to get through all 10 of the machines and then uh, activate the system. It's all tied in with the Judicator Jane universe. This is where you start. This is the Earth machine, the first one. And to get started, you click. Up here is how much energy you have currently, and each click is 1 energy. So let's get to 10. Now we're at 10 energy. We have enough to unlock geothermal, so let's do that. As you can see, this circle is filling in with a color. It takes 10 seconds to completely fill in, and when it reaches the end, it scores 13 energy. We can click to add 1 point of energy at the very beginning. It helps. And now we have 30 energy, and we're going to unlock methane. And now we have geothermal generating 13 energy per 10 seconds and methane generating 26 energy per 10 seconds. Down here, we have the total amount of energy per second, which is obviously rounded down. We can level these up by clicking on them. For instance, if I want to spend 42 energy, I can level up methane, which I'm going to do right now. Click. So now it generates 33 energy, and it would cost 58 energy to bump up to level 3. If I click on this cost and it says X10, this is how much it would cost me to jump up 10 levels. And if I click it, it would jump up 10 levels. And if I click again on cost, it goes to X100. And if I click again, it goes to max, which is if I used all of the energy available, however many levels I could get. So I could get 6 here and 3 here. But let's go back to 1. And as you can see, the different energy sources each have a different ring. And we're at this point, there's nothing we can do but this, and wait for each one to generate enough energy to unlock. I'm going to pause the video until we have something more. Okay, we're back. This was a slow process and took a while, but as you can see, I have bumped each of these up to level 2. These are the 8, and we're ready to unlock the next machine, which is the ocean machine. Now, notice the energy produced mostly doubles with every energy source, whereas the cost triples. So as you get further down in this list, things will go slower. The strategy in this game is to balance, do I generate energy and advance, or do I use the energy to make it quicker to advance? The buffs that we will use are very, very important. And right now, the only buff we have is the level of the power. But there are quite a number of them to be unlocked. And the first one will be the technology tree. So when we unlock the ocean, we will also unlock the technology tree. Just a little pop-up telling us that the Earth machine is still running and generating energy. Here is technology. Now, as you can see, these are significantly more expensive to unlock than the previous machine. And right now, we have so few buffs going that it will take a very, very long time to make any progress. But what we want to do is get our total to 100,000, and here's why. If we go into technology, the way this works is you can convert energy into tech points, and the ratio is 10,000 to 1. So right now, our 85,000 energy is 8 tech. In addition, when you do that transfer, it resets all of your progress through the machines and you start off at the beginning of the Earth machine, but hopefully with buffs in place that will make it go quicker. Right now, this is the first technology that we can unlock. And it's called Generalization 1, and it gives a plus 100% energy generation to every machine. Actually, yeah. And it costs 10 tech, which is 100,000 energy. So we have, oh, yes, now it's telling us that technology is unlocked. We have enough energy, but before we do that, there's something I want to show you real quick. This is the full unlocked tech tree. We are right here. That is generalization 1. And there's some directions we want to go here. A big early unlock is this one, which is the gem harvesting. Over here is going to be the buffing the Earth machine, and over here is going to be buffing the ocean machine. Let's put that aside for now, and let's do our first technology. Okay, we have 15 energy. We're going to spend 10. And now that we've unlocked this, we can see the other 3. So what do we have? We have 30 tech to do 100% buff for Earth. We have 60 tech to do 100% buff for Ocean. And we have 100 tech, which would be 10 million. Excuse me, 1 million. To do generalization 2, which is a 50% buff to everything. We want to get this out of the way quickly so we can go up to the left and unlock gems. They are very important early on in the game. Also, unlocks that have this sort of light greenish color are called tiered unlocks. And you can purchase them multiple times. And in this case of this one, every time you purchase it, it will add 100% to the total. So next time it would be plus 200, plus 300, plus 400. But as you can see, the price went up significantly by a factor of 100. Most aren't quite that much of a factor. It's usually closer to 10. But right now, there's absolutely no way we can afford that. So, all right, let's go. We can't afford anything else. So let's go back. And this is just a pop-up saying, hey, we got a lot of energy. Let's get this started, and then I'll show you some things that have changed. Okay, you have this little button down here, and it will show all your buffs. So right now we have a plus 100%, and what that means is, remember how geothermal was outputting 13? Well, now it's 26. And same thing here. That was 26, and now it's 52. And instead of being at 3, we're at 7. Okay, I'm just going to wait here until we get to ocean, so I'm going to pause the video. All right, here we are. That was much faster, although still a bit slow. At this point in the game, things will be quite slow. Let's go ahead and unlock ocean. Now, here we have some decisions. One possible strategy is to, excuse me, is to unlock things as fast as we can. So in this case, it would mean earning 300,000 energy and unlocking an extra 100% for the earth power. That's not a bad strategy. Another one would be to let the game play in the background, or leave the computer or something, and save up enough to unlock multiple ones. So doing these 3 here would be 190 tech, which is 1.9 million. Now it's going to take us a while to get to 1.9 million. The game also has away mode. So if you were to close the game and leave it and then start it up again, you will find that it will have generated 12.5% of the regular energy for up to three hours of away time. That percentage and that duration can be increased significantly through unlocks, and it's actually possible to generate more energy during away time than you do when the program's actively running. But that doesn't happen for quite a while. So what do we do? That's really up to you. I'm going to pause the game for the purposes of the tutorial. I'm going to pause the video and let it run until we have enough to unlock all 3 of these, which is 1.9 million. So let's do that, and I'll see you in a bit. Oh, before we do much more, one of the things you can do is buff up the Earth machine. You will get much more energy from buffing up these last few energy sources in the Earth machine than you will from buffing these up. They're just way too expensive. Once you get about halfway down the ocean machine, that will change. But right now you can see that they are literally generating the same output, more or less, approximately. And to buff this up for it, that would give us maybe 20 per second, 30 per second at most. Whereas we can do this. Watch what happens down here. Okay, and even with that, I get significant bumps. And at this level, I can actually do these and get noticeable bumps in production. Okay, so let's put it at, let's do one more here. Okay, so we're at 1600, and we wouldn't have gotten anything close to that here spending the same amount of energy. So going back to pausing the video, See you in a little bit. Okay, we're back. So I went, I'm letting this go to 1.9 million. As I said, that's not necessarily the best way to do it, but I want to keep this tutorial short. So let's go to technology. Let's do the transfer. And we can do all three of these. Plus 50% energy generation to everything. Plus 100% for earth power only. Plus 100% for ocean power only. Up here is the gem, which is going to cost 200 or 2 million energy, so that's something we want. Over here are additional buffs for the Earth machine, uh, several of which we'll probably use. Over here are additional buffs for the Ocean machine, and the first one being the Speed tab. There is a speed, well, and this is the Quantity tab, and those are fairly important to unlock. So we'll focus on those and the gem next. So let's see, that's 360, 560, so 5.6 million. Now notice we have this down here, okay, and that gives our buffs for the Earth machine. So we have the Earth only at 100%, the generalization 1 and 2 for another 150%. So 300, 250% plus, so it's 3.5x. And if you remember, we had 13 here, so 3.5 times 13 is about 45. So it is as expected. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video now. It's going much faster than it was before, obviously, and I'll unpause it when we get to ocean. Okay, here we are. We just unlocked the ocean machine. And as I said before, we will get more benefit out of buffing these than we will for buffing these. So we're going to go ahead and do that and see how high we can get this. Okay. Notice how I use the X10 there. Okay. All right, so let's go just a little bit further. And I think getting up to 3,000 per second will be a noble goal. There we go. Okay. So over here, we have the same number of buffs. But what we really want to do is unlock the quantity tab. The speed tab is nice, but the quantity tab is better. If we go into technology, um, here's the quantity tab, and we need to unlock the speed tab to get to the other ocean buffs. Each machine each machine has the two of the plus 100% tiered buffs, and then they have some unique buffs for and quantity and speed, but they also have some unique buffs just for them. And in the case of Earth, let's go to Earth, you get white bars across these circles or semicircles, up to 3 of them, and each time it fills when it's filling, when it hits one of those white bars, it generates energy. So if you get all three of those unlocked, it generates 4 times as much energy in one cycle. Or, well, generates 4x, 3 times more. But so the custom buffs in technology are usually really, really good, but they always cost more to unlock. So the first thing you want to work on is speed and quantity, but especially quantity. Speed, well, I'll show it to you later. So what do we need? Well, we need gem. So that's 200. And I would say we need quantity. So 380. And just for demonstration purposes, I would like to show you speed. So that's 560. So we're going to save up till 5.6 million. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video until we get there. Okay, we're back. So let me show you what I did here. I didn't go very far into Ocean. I went until the unlock cost was a significant percentage of what I was aiming for. At this point, spending 1.77 million would set me back pretty far in my goal of 5.6 million, and the added benefit probably wouldn't make too much of a difference. Also, I only go up one level on these. This isn't a hard uh, strategy, but percentage wise, every level you go up, you get less benefit because I believe it's a fixed amount for each level. I'm not totally positive on that. But one level is sort of, you get the most benefit from leveling up. Also, once I got a couple of these generating energy, I went back here and leveled a bunch of these up so that I was getting 5K, which was a significant improvement. And I'm only getting 5K from here. So I've just now reached the spot where the ocean machine is equal to the Earth machine. And it would cost quite a bit to continue leveling those up. Now let's go to technology and do what we intended to do. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is gem. So unlock gems, gem harvesting. This is a bit weird because this has the double circle around it, which means when you click on it, you open up a subtree. Okay, and what we have here is gem 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little a quality of life unlock. So gem 2 is 1 million tech, which is 10 billion. So we're not there, although we might be at the beginning of the end of ocean or the beginning of wind. And see this sort of bluish green, blue green, this dark blue green, that means something that's unlocked, that's a simple unlock has been unlocked. This lighter green is a tiered unlock that has been initially unlocked. This arrow is for a tiered unlock that you can level up. And this shade of green with the pulsing means that it's something you can afford to, it's something that's not unlocked that you can afford to unlock. So what I wanted to do here was unlock the speed and the quantity for demonstration purposes. Let's go back and see what we got. Ah, yes, gem harvesting unlocked. Let me get this started at least. If we can get it started, it'll generate energy while I'm going through this explanation. Okay. Now, this is gems, and gems are very, very important in a number of ways, but especially at the early game, early in a machine. So you can have up to 5 gems uh, progressing, and once they get to the end, you get an actual gem that goes here. So for gem 1, it takes 15 minutes per gem. Gem 2, it's 30. Gem 3, it's an hour. Gem 4, it's 2 hours. And Gem 5, it's 3 hours. Now you can upgrade the machines that you've unlocked and um, at some point, and the first gem you spend is a plus 100%. So that is 1 gem for an X2. And this gems are different, and I'll show you in a minute, because they give you tier 2. Actually, let's go do this right now. Once you unlock gems, these become available. These are 4 free gems, which is an hour's worth of gem production. So if you just click on these sites, okay, so now we have 4 gems, and I'll show you how they work. So first, you can do an upgrade, and for 1 gem, I can do a 100% upgrade. So let's do that. Now, what that, actually, we need to see how much quicker this is. Okay, so we can do the upgrades. It's the first 100% is 1 gem, the second is 2, the third is 4, the fifth is 8, fourth is 8, fifth is 16. I don't usually, with the exception of the magnetic machine, I don't usually go past spending 4. Um, but that's up to you. So here, these are unlocked in technology, as are these. But right now, I can spend 1 gem to uh, increase the speed for everything by 100%. That that is after the machine generates all of its stuff. So that is essentially an x2, a times 2. Okay, so let's do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and spend the extra 2 on ocean power. So now it's going by 300%. So let's look at this. Let's get to ocean power. Oh my. Okay. We'll just pause until we get there. Okay, so we're back. We're about to go into ocean, and there's a few things I want to cover here. So let's look at our buffs in ocean. Okay, we have the 250% that we had before. Those are tier 1. The gems in the mini games give you tier 2, and these are multiplied. So for each 100% here in tier 2, I get whatever tier 1 is. So since I have 200%, that means I get 500% on top of the that's in addition to the 250% I get just for so anyway, it comes out to something like 7.5x, which is amazing. This is why gems are so powerful early on. Later, the mini games just completely overwhelm them. I mean, I've had millions of percent tier 2s, but early on, the gems are priceless. So let's go ahead and do these. Now, we have new tabs, quantity and speed, and these only, oh, this happened before. I'm going to pause for a sec. Okay, we're back. So speed increases the speed of these orbs. And the thing is the speed increase isn't all that much. So normally they're at 10 seconds. Because we have the X2 speed, it's at 5 seconds. But look what happens if I increase the speed here. Oh, also look at the actual value here, 11.4K. So I'm going to go ahead and increase the speed here. Okay, it drops it by 1/10 of a second, and it's 11.5. So that is almost nothing. I've found that when the speed is the standard speed like this, where it has 8 different speeds for all 8 of the energy sources, it's not usually all that beneficial to increasing the speed unless you're doing magnetic machine and you're increasing chemical machine. But that's something else. Quantity, however, is much different because when you start off with 1 orb, and when you go to 2 orbs, you have doubled the output for this energy source. So we definitely want quantity um, to go up. However, it's very expensive, and there's a you know there uh, there's a a trade-off between how much quantity and doing additional unlocks. Um, Power, as I showed, it's not as much of a benefit as quantity, but it costs a lot less. So these are the 3 things you balance on almost every machine: power, speed, and quantity. Some machines have a single speed for everything, and in that case, it's not a bad idea to max it out. Let me show you here. So um, these max out at level 44, which would be about a half second with this speed boost, or maybe a full second with no speed boost. The quantities max out at 10. So, but let's just keep going here. Whoop. And so anyway, this is the game. You basically have all these things that you juggle and trade off against each other. Do I increase my quantity or my speed or my power? Do I continue generating energy, or do I go into technology and um, lose all my progress but get lots of nice buffs? And that's the strategy of the game. Um, Now let's go back to the tech tree real quick. There's a few things I want to mention here. Okay, so I told you that getting to the gem is really important, right? But there's also some ones over here that are fairly important as well. So these 3 are time dilapidation, excuse me, and they each add 10% to speed. Now, uh, that's not 10% less time, that's 10% to the speed. The first one drops the speed for everything by 9%, the second one by 8%, and the third one by 6%. When you have all 3 of them, you have a 23% time reduction in how long things take. That is far, far better than uh, a better use of resources than bumping up the speed. So these time dilapidation, I recommend unlocking them as soon as possible, or reasonably possible. But even more importantly, if you go up here and over, um, these unlock the mini games. And unfortunately, by the time you're making enough energy to unlock the first mini game, you're practically done with it. But the second mini game, which affects machine 5 through 8, is actually really, really important. And the earlier you can get it unlocked, it makes a huge, 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 huge difference. So it's worth waiting to unlock that one. That one is called Environment. Or no, sorry. No, it's not. Well, whatever it's called. But the mini games provide little games that buff up your tier 2 um, buffs, power buffs, and they also, well, no, that's what they do. And the thing is they don't really have a limit. So, like I've said, I've done mini games with a million, like 3 or 4 million% tier 2 buff. It gets to the point where the tier 1 buffs are more important than the tier 2 buffs because they're multiplied. So that's another area that I would recommend. Actually, let me think about that for a sec. This is mini games right here. It's like gem. It 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 opens up another one. So this one right here is mini game, not these. These are something else. You want to get to this one, you want to get to these, and you want to get to gem, and eventually you want to get to defense system. Defense system is tier 3, which is really great, but it's also random. So read the comprehensive guide for more information. So that's pretty much it for the guide. Um, let's see what we can unlock here real quick before we end it. Okay, we can't get this one yet, but we can get this. Whoop, not what I wanted. And we can maybe get this. There we go. Okay, I wanted to show you what these do because these are the special. Oh, good. These are the special unlocks for the Earth machine, and this is for the Ocean machine. So let's go back and take a look at what those do. All right. So you can see it's added 2 bars, and each time it hits one of those, it reaches one of those bars, it it generates energy. So essentially, by adding these 2 bars, we've tripled the total energy output. Okay, and you can see how much faster we're going through here. Um, I mean, when you get further along, you'll basically be clicking those as fast as you can um, to get through. But right now, this is far, far faster. And so these energy bars are significant improvements. And this one is a similar bar. They're not all bars, just these first 2. But when it reaches it, it splits into 2. So if we increase the quantity by 2, we're essentially getting 4 um, 4 each time. And the final thing is our gem is done. Yay. Okay. Um, so the final thing is these gem buffs are against the total output of the machine. So they go down here. So the second gem buff is a power, 100% power, X2 power. So both of these are essentially an X2 power, and when they're down here, everything down here multiplies. So if you have 2 of them, you get an X4, essentially. If you have 3 of them, somehow you get an X8, and that happens later in the game. But definitely you want to use these gem buffs. If you have more than one available, you want to use these first 2 in conjunction, always, because otherwise you're just wasting gems. And I'm going to go ahead and unlock this one and show you. Whoop. So you can see how much, oh, that's quantity. Yeah, you can see how much faster we're going through here. This is um, just way, way faster. I can actually show it to you in real time. So let's go back to Earth real quick. And you can see I've got my tier 2. So it changed 350 into 700. Okay. There's more, but I don't this is a intro guide, and so this is the end of the guide. Thank you very much for watching.